All right, so guys, what are we going to jump into today that's going to help these advisors double their business and get some time back?
So I'm really excited to share some things that I don't think that we've ever actually talked about on any platform before. One of those things specifically is going to be LinkedIn Profinder. So we'll talk about that a little later. So definitely stick around for that one. That's a way to get basically free leads through LinkedIn. So we'll kind of go into what you need to actually have and accomplish that. And then one of my favorite things we're going to talk about today is the use of video in your business. We use it all the time here, but just talk about why that can be super powerful as well.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, guys, take it away. You guys want to share your screen?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Jeremiah. So Brianna and I kind of collaborated. One of the things we chatted about as we were, talking about what we wanted to share with you today, we wanted to share some high impact stuff that we see working right now. I mean, Brianna, you probably know the number exactly. It's just shy of, we've got a couple hundred advisors, just shy of 200, I think, that we're coaching right now. And we see a lot of stuff every day. We talk to a lot of advisors, so we hear a lot of what's going on around the nation. And we wanted to kind of put all that together for you here today and chat through some things, as Brianna said, we haven't even talked about yet, and other things that are really working for our advisors. So we'll just kind of jump in here. Brianna, if you want to just kind of share with us why LinkedIn. I mean, we hear this all the time. Is LinkedIn the place to be? There's so many options out there. Why LinkedIn? Why should they spend their time and effort on LinkedIn?
Yeah, so the biggest thing is just because of the numbers of people that are actually there. So it's a large platform that everybody's using. I would even, bet money on if people were to ask you if they know about LinkedIn, most people are aware about LinkedIn, right? I think I read a stat one time too about, I think like someone signs up for LinkedIn like 3 every second. It's something crazy. They're growing exponentially, especially when the pandemic hit, right? Everyone had to figure out how to go virtual. And so LinkedIn was a very big platform for that happening. So we've seen a huge amount of people getting on LinkedIn and doing business virtually. So getting into it now is just really a really good idea, but the numbers are the thing that's making it a really great thing to go to.
Yeah, I mean, 660 million members. And I like, what we have here, decision makers, that's who we all want to talk to, right? 63 million out there for us to chat with. So plenty of people to talk to. It's a great pool to chat through. We got some stats just to kind of throw at you to just support our argument. I know we're a little biased because we've been working on this in a while and enjoy it, but I thought this one was interesting too. 98% of Fortune 500 companies use LinkedIn. But I started thinking about what that means for advisors. And what we know about LinkedIn is they want you to use it. They need you to be on it as much as possible, right? I mean, I know the Netflix CEO said their biggest competitor is sleep because you're not watching content at that point, right? So it's similar. They want you there, they want you on it. But because it's so valuable in that respect, so many of these companies are posting. It's got its own job board. So people that need jobs or looking for changes, they're all on there and very active. So people are in and out of LinkedIn all the time that fit your ideal prospects and targets. So I thought this was a really neat stat that Brianna pulled for us because it shows you people are on LinkedIn, they're using it, and they have to find jobs and opportunities because it's just this mammoth of a platform. We got a whole bunch of stats. Brianna, why don't you run through those real quick for everybody just to show them who else is on LinkedIn for us?
Yeah, so the biggest thing here is that people of higher net worth, or at least people over 100K in the US specifically, are on LinkedIn. So you'll find that a lot of this goes back to the, leaders that are on LinkedIn, again, over 60%. I think the next biggest one is like somewhere around 70K, but the point is that majority of people that make over 100K are on there. So for you guys as financial advisors, you love that fact. So really, really good thing that the higher net worth people are on there. I would say that the biggest thing too with advisors, so the next one is advisors who prospect on LinkedIn achieve 60% success rate. Advisors utilizing and leveraging LinkedIn is becoming more popular as as we've seen, again, all the people that are in shift right now. But the success rate is very high. Like if you're doing anything, even on LinkedIn, whether that be enhancing your profile, reaching out, organic traffic, like you're going to be successful. So it's all about, I think, figuring out how to actually get there. Yeah. Chris, you're really good as a financial background with the stats next.
Right. Well, we want, a lot of advisors out there, wealth managers want AUM. So of the 62% of advisors successfully using LinkedIn, 1 in 3 gain $1 million in new AUM when they use it effectively. All right. 2 of 3 investors are out there looking. They're on LinkedIn. They're researching. I think it's 73% of people are researching their financial decisions on LinkedIn. So that's, again, the point of LinkedIn. People, they're trying to keep people on that platform. They have everyone wanting to be on there, wanting to work in there, wanting to get information, sharing content. It's a social media platform now. I mean, if you look at the feed, it looks a lot like Facebook. That's the idea. I think we're going to see more and more time spent there and more opportunity coming from LinkedIn. All right. So Brown, I know this is a new thing. I think it's the first time we're sharing this. It's something we've been hearing about from our advisors. It's something we've done internally at Advisorist for years. You know, we've used Loom and videos to communicate quickly. We're a virtual team. Or all over the country. You're in Texas. Jeremiah's up in the Northeast in the Boston area. I'm down in the Carolinas. So share a little bit about Loom for those who may not know about it and what we're seeing our advisors do with it as a result of how we used it with them.
Yeah, so I'm super pumped to talk about this. So in the Shift program right now, which is the LinkedIn program we have here at Advisorist, I've been using Loom a lot, same with Chris, to communicate with our clients. So if a client wants to know, hey, Bree, can you check out my LinkedIn profile? Just give me some feedback. We found that it's just been so much easier to just shoot them over a Loom video with me actually reviewing their profile. And so they have that kind of personalized approach. And it's also easier to communicate and talk about what you're trying to say. A lot of times when you write out emails, especially about things that people are kind of confused about, it can get lost in translation, right? We hear that all the time when people talk about if you send a text message, you should probably call instead, or, it just translates different. So video has been proving to be really helpful for a lot of our clients. And it was awesome because we were just using it as a marketing tool to better everything. And then our clients started loving it so much that they actually started getting Loom as well, and then sending videos to their clients also. So again, this goes back to, as an advisor, you become so used to the language that you're saying every day and the terms that you're using. And so sometimes that can fall on deaf ears to people who know that they trust you with their money, but they really don't really know what it all means. So sending Loom videos can be super helpful in the space of trying to communicate what you want. And it's awesome because Loom has a feature where you can record your screen. So if you guys want to have a whiteboard on your screen, you kind of want to, break it all down for them in a way they can understand, that can be helpful. We've seen our clients do that. You can see on the picture here too, on the slide, there's a little image of a woman there in a little circle. I really like that feature. It makes it feel super personal. So when I'm writing the videos, when I'm making the videos to clients, I'll usually turn on my camera just so that they can see me kind of working with them through this process. So when they're watching the video, they feel very much so like I am there helping them, which is just, again, a nice personal touch for your clients who are trusting you with, their futures or their situations and things like that. Chris, I think you can go to the next.
Yeah, we got another. Yeah, absolutely. Some good stats here for you. Go ahead, Brianna.
Yeah. So the biggest thing of video can be kind of, for a lot of people, especially for me starting out, and my entire team, Jeremiah and Chris right now can attest to this, hated video. I was not a big fan of video. I talk really fast and I'm just awkward as a person. But, doing these Loom videos every single day, I've become super comfortable with it, right? It's just like a muscle. You have to train it and then you eventually kind of get used to it and things like that. But I really want to talk about why video, right? Because we can tell you all day long, oh, you should use this, but I think stats can really help really put it into action. So, the internet right now, a lot of people spend at least 7 hours a week watching online videos. I was actually surprised. I thought it was higher because we know that TikTok, right, is huge right now. So if you don't know what TikTok is, that's basically a video that's recorded 60 seconds and you can kind of just scroll through it. But TikTok is taking off, right? YouTube has been huge. People go to YouTube all the time to get content. We have a YouTube channel here. We just see the power of video there. So up to 7 hours a week is big. So your clients are pretty familiar with video and like it. So utilizing it can be powerful. From there, about 85% of all internet users actually watch online video on their devices. So it's not that people are watching them just at their desktop, they're watching them on their phone. You can have video on, Facebook. So wherever they're really finding themselves platform-wise, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, they all have video feature. So again, people just like it and the information that they're absorbing from video. And then from there, watching a product video convinced 74% of people to download an app or software. So how many times have you guys seen an ad that had video footage on it? Even if it was an ad where maybe you couldn't hear what was happening, but you see video happening, it makes you really want to engage with it. So again, this is a really powerful way and persuasive way of getting people to understand, why they need what you have or to better understand things. So
yeah, and I think Yeah, I mean, and how you can apply it in your practice. So I'll share a story here at Advisors that we had happen. So this summer we were trying to improve our own rates, our show rates. As you're having appointments, we have people that are showing up. There was always a percentage that aren't showing up. So Jeremiah and I and our team put our heads together, and we came up with 2 simple things to improve our show rate. Number one, have a confirmation process, and part of that confirmation process, the person that had the appointment would send a Loom video, just quickly saying, "Hey, Jeremiah, I look forward to chatting with you later today. I look forward to our meeting tomorrow. We're going to review such and such," whatever was pertinent at that time, but something custom, 20, 30 seconds, didn't have to be long. And we sent that to the prospects. Our show rate increased by over 60% during that time with just that little change. So just taking that extra time, that's one thing you can take and apply into your practice right away. And Jeremiah, I don't know if you have anything to add to that, because I mean, video is huge. I know you're very active in it and promoting that way as well.
Yeah, and I just want to acknowledge Brianna for getting over, the video jitters. I don't think there's anybody on this class today that does not have video jitters, including myself. Like, it's always a process, and the more you do it, it's like riding a bike, guys. It's, first time you do it, you're going to hate it. You're going to do like 50 takes. You're going to think you look dumb or silly or whatever story that we end up telling ourselves. But I'll tell you that that's not how it's being perceived by the other person. In fact, the way that you're being perceived when you send video is you are at the cutting edge. Because think about this, how many advisors do you know use video chat like Loom or BombBomb? Very few. So the fact that in the cold market or even in the warm market, or you're, working the referral market, that you use that is a huge way to separate yourself from your competitors. So you're creating a beachhead right away. All right. Because they're going to see you. And the fact that you were comfortable to be on video says a lot about transparency and is an instant trust builder. All right. It's almost like, hey, I don't have anything to hide. Let's connect. The other trick I'm going to teach you, I just taught this to actually one of our LinkedIn speakers confided in me that he didn't know, he wasn't getting good responses. I'm not going to tell you who it was, but I gave him a little private training. I'll give you guys. As I said, when you're reaching out to somebody that you've connected with and you're going for that, let's say that virtual meeting, or it's the follow-up, because Loom allows you to show your screen with your face. Question to the audience. Aside from your face, whose face is that person most interested in seeing? I'm going to see if you guys can pick up this. This is not a Harvard level question, but whose face are they most interested in seeing? Yeah, very good. Their own, right? Yeah, you guys got it. So what if you took their LinkedIn profile and you brought it up on your screen? And while you were talking, you were scrolling through their profile. So there's a little bit of movement and they see your face and their face. What are you already doing? Those of you that read Sunday Brew, and every Sunday we drop a really powerful psychological hack in there, psychological life hack, a marketing hack. What are you doing by associating your face with their face? What are you doing? Question to the audience. We're going to see who's reading Sunday Brew. That's right. You're creating an association. You're creating a connection between you and them that's psychological, that they can't turn off. The brain cannot turn that off. It's impossible, because they see themselves in a favorable light most of the time. We're talking about rational people with a degree of self-respect. And then they see you, right? And combine that with recency, where you're touching base with them via LinkedIn, and they're just, that recency of always being in front creates that beachhead that they're more likely to say yes to you. So there's a little win that you can use when you're reaching out to somebody. Have either their website, their Facebook profile, their LinkedIn profile on your screen while you're talking to them, because it shows them, oh, this was made for me personally as well. It's very personalized. Great stuff, guys. Let's keep rocking.
Yeah, and just before we move from this side, I've got a lot of questions about BombBomb Loom. Just very quickly on that, Loom's free to start with. So if you just want to get your hands dirty a little bit and get your feet wet in it, try Loom. It's going to be a link, so it's a little easier to send. BombBomb's going to actually integrate right into email. Those of you Gmail, G Suite users, things like that, going to be a little more effective there. YouTube, you're going to post it. That's public. You still got to go through a lot of work there. So the link just goes directly to the prospect. So BombBomb's great. We've used that as well. And if you want to integrate it right into email, that's a great option as well. All right, moving on here. So Profinder, Brian, I know we've tested this, we've worked on this. You've done a lot of work on Profinder. Can you guys explain what Profinder is and kind of how we can use this to help with our lead generation efforts?
Yeah, so this is the part, guys, where I was talking about getting the free leads from LinkedIn. So LinkedIn looks at Profinder as basically a way to say, hey, you know what? Because of the fact that you have a super enhanced profile and you've taken everything that we have on there and really leveraged it, we're going to send you free leads. So Profinder is basically a way where if you were just a normal person in society, you could go to Profinder and find a freelancer or an individual, like a consultant person on Profinder. So financial advisors fall into that category, much like realtors or graphic designers. They're all in that space. The only thing that you have to do to get on Profinder is get your profile approved. So Chris, if you want to go to that next slide for me. So I just wanted to give a couple of tips here on what it would take to get your Profinder application approved. And quite frankly, it's pretty simple. You just have to kind of follow through all the rules. So again, this is going off the fact that Profinder professionals are going to go and look at your profile. And so Profinder wants to make sure that it's as enhanced as possible. So when you guys originally signed up for LinkedIn, a lot of what you put on your profile is walkthrough, meaning that it'll tell you this is the next step and this is the next step, and you need to fill in all these blanks. What you're going to want to do is make sure that you have a banner, your tagline is filled in, you filled out all of your work experience, your summary is written and looks good, your headshot is professional, all of the normal things LinkedIn comes with. And then from there, the way to really get your profile approved is going to be by enhancing your section at the bottom, like your testimonials, your endorsements, things like that. So they really want to see that people are working with you and you are an authority in your space. You can do this by adding testimonial videos on there or interviews of you, because I know some people can't have the testimonials. So if you've ever been featured on an interview on like a live platform, that's an awesome one to put on there as well. Just any videos that really show the Profinder people that work there that you know what you're talking about. And then from there, again, just endorsements. This is found at the bottom of your page. So getting multiple people to endorse you for what you're good at. And then same with the recommendation. So asking a few people in your network, like, hey, can you send me a recommendation? Having at least 3 to 5 of those will, again, show Profinder that you really are an authority. And then from there, just submitting an application. And my favorite part about all of this is that when you submit your application, Profinder will let you know within, I would say, about 48 hours if you're approved or not, but they'll also tell you why you're not approved. So they'll say, hey, we need to see more of this on your page in order to get this application approved. And then you can keep resubmitting until that finally goes through. And then from there, if somebody in your local area is looking for a financial advisor or someone that offers your services, they will just send those leads straight to you, which is awesome.
Yes. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, great extra tool there, something to jumpstart. It's also a great way to get your profile where it needs to be. All right. They're going to kind of help you and coach you along in that. So it's a great tip there. Thanks, Brian, for sharing that. So I think maybe is Nick's around. Nick, why don't we bring you in if you're willing to come on here? Let me see if I can. I know
we can try to. What's his? It's okay. You want me to? All right. Okay. He's on audio. He's good.
I think I got him. We got you, Nick.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Awesome. So you and I talked last week, and you've had some success. I don't want to leave out Roman too. I know we talked about Roman. He had some success this week. He actually got propositioned for a date, so he's having his own level of success. So hey, everyone's winning here. But Nick, you've had some really good early success. But I want to ask you a question because you shared something with me, and I thought of this story. I was actually sharing in one of our coaching sessions this week, and one of my friends shared the story. I think Chinese bamboo trees, how they have to be watered for like 5 years and consistently. And then all of a sudden they'll sprout in like 30 days, they grow 80 feet or some ridiculous number. And so the question is, does the tree grow 80 feet in 30 days or 80 feet in 10 years, 30 days? So Nick, you've been a long time listener and you've been implementing the stuff Jeremiah's been teaching for a while, especially on LinkedIn. So maybe can you chat with that for a moment for us?
Yeah, as far as how I'm using it, or just
you share with me that you were using all the strategies, all the things that we've been teaching for the last year. You've been studying everything, jumping on the power hours, reading the emails and implementing those things. So you've been pretty good at doing those things and implementing them in your practice, right?
Yeah. So I've been kind of following Advisorist for a little over a year, and I was first introduced through a NAFA event, and just kind of been jumping on the power hours and the free sessions and things like that. And basically trying to take all of my notes and things like that and incorporate them and build them into my practice. And I was having some success with that. But then at the end of 2020, I basically made the decision to make the commitment and the investment in the LinkedIn Shift Accelerator program. And it basically, what it did is it took everything that I had either learned or failed at myself and basically scaled it for me. So those successes I was having, the program that with the Shift Accelerator program has basically increased the amount of activity that I've been doing on LinkedIn by about 10 times. So
yeah, that's great. And when you shared that with me, I was really just kind of thinking, but you put in the hard work. And we have everyone on this call. I think we're almost at over 500 people on this call that are putting in the work, doing all the stuff to get there. And you just need that little bit of water. And then one day you hit it and everything goes well. So share with us what's happened in the last 6 weeks, because you've done some tremendous things. I think the success you've had in just closing business is great. But you've had a lot of virtual appointments and you've gotten very good at taking what you, and that's why I brought you up on this slide, taking your message, taking what makes you different and bringing that out to your prospects and differentiating yourself in a marketplace that's full of people that are prospecting to clients, for their financial products.
Yeah, so I think, to start with, with the Shift Accelerated program, I think the biggest thing was, enhancing the profile was the first step. And just realizing, how many people, when you send those connection requests, are just clicking on your profile before they accept that request to see exactly what you do. So hats off to Brianna for helping me get that profile optimized. But then what I've been doing is just sending out and following the messaging campaigns with LinkedIn and hosting those 15-minute virtual coffee chats is how we refer to them as. And just basically going through the scripts that of the virtual appointments that Jeremiah has in the program. And that first meeting is just basically answering or asking a series of open-ended questions and really talking very little about what I do until the very end of the appointment. So I think what I've found is people have already looked at my profile. They understand what I'm doing, and the amount of information people give you by just simply asking what made you invest the time for this call today and just shutting up and listening. And they basically give you all of the information that you need to move forward with that individual. And kind of how I've set up my process is after that original meeting, we ask for the second appointment. So we go from a 15-minute meeting to a 45-minute or a 60-minute meeting. And even in that second meeting, it's very little about any product discussion or strategy discussion. It's more of an educational meeting about why we're doing the strategies that we're doing. So they understand and the education and the background behind some of the strategies that we're implementing for a lot of our clients. And then by the third meeting, we basically get jumped on and they're basically eager to, when can we start to move some of this stuff along, and all of that. So it's been going pretty well.
Yeah, I think, you said something key there. And I think this is a couple slides from now, and I'll just share it right now. I think it's a good time. You said, one of the things we teach in Shift is that you have to have everything in order. You have to have your messaging in line, because just because someone looks at your profile and someone's interested in what you say initially, you can lose them right there and you're never going to know it. It's a leaky bucket. You're going to have people going to your profile and never moving any further with you, never contacting you, and you'll never know. And so that's why I think it's so important. And you've done this so well, is crafting a message that's consistent from your messaging to your profile, to your first 15-minute chat, to your second meeting. And what he didn't say, because he's probably too modest to say, he's at 100% of moving that 15-minute chat to the second meeting. So he's doing a great job.
Wow.
He's doing a great job. And the key there is he's talking different. He's consistent. He's standing out from the crowd, because there is so much noise out there. You see all those users on LinkedIn. There's a lot of noise, a lot of marketing, a lot of digital marketing. Everyone's had to do this due to COVID. And the better you are at laser pinpointing that message and moving people through that process and getting your message through all that noise, that's the top 30% that's rising above everybody else right now. So Nick, great job. I know we didn't plan to bring you on, and we got some more slides here, but any other questions for Nick before I let him go? I've talked to him a couple of times. He's doing awesome, and I'm very happy.
First of all, actually, I didn't know that, Nick. And first, I want to say thank you. I mean, we're willing to come on just like that. Like Chris was like, hey, look, Nick's going to be here. I'm like, well, let's ask Nick if he wants to come on. So thank you so much, Nick. And we appreciate you for doing that. Guys, for somebody to go to transfer 100% of their initial 15-minute calls from a 15-minute, let's get to know you, to the step 2 is massive. So Nick, I just want to recognize you for that. I think that's a tremendous achievement. And that means that Nick has done 2 things exceedingly well. Number 1, he doesn't pitch, because if you're pitching in your first call, you're going to lose it. Number 2, he must have a very good unique sales proposition, which I think, Nick, if you're open to it, and Chris, we should do another class on unique sales propositions, because I'm seeing all this chatter. Compliance won't let me do testimonials. Yeah. Fine. If they don't, first of all, the SEC has allowed that as of December 22nd. We have a whole course on how to use testimonials, how to collect them to Advisors Max members. So if you're not a member, price is going to go up massively April 1st. So, become a member if you guys want that course for free or included in your membership. But developing unique sales proposition, both what's seen on your profile and what you say in your words, is one of the biggest differentiators. So Nick, kudos to you, man. I mean, just keep rocking it, brother. And what's been your results? Like what in 6 weeks, what is the revenue or AUM? I don't know how you calculate it for you, but can you just kind of share us what are the tactical proof that you've gotten?
Yeah, I guess for the 6 weeks is since I started the program. So I really launched everything about 4 weeks into that program. So it's really been in the last 2 weeks. And in that last 2 weeks, got $500,000 of new AUM. And then at the end of last week, actually, just after I talked to Chris, we did close, $22,000 of life insurance premium through virtual appointments. So on the AUM side, you can calculate out, roughly 1% on that. And then
you got some planning fees, didn't you?
What's that?
You got some planning fees too, right? On top of all that.
Yep. So I share that with some of my colleagues here as far as the actual planning fee goes. So, the 1% on the AUM, and then on the life insurance, I just figure about 60% on that. So program's more than paid for itself in the first month here.
Yeah. Awesome. So
that's awesome, Nick. Thank you.
Another thing, Nick, I know we're tooting your horn here a little bit, but I think we see this with our top, the members of our program, the top members of our program, they have one thing in common. They execute. I mean, you heard Nick, we have a 6-week program. He executed in 4 weeks to get it going. That's great. That's what it takes to be successful in any marketing endeavor that you're going to go down to try to generate new leads. I know just the poll that we put out, lead generation being the biggest concern, execution and follow through. So thanks, Nick. Appreciate it, man. And look forward to continuing your success here.
Yeah. Keep up the great work, buddy. We're applauding you over here. The whole advisors team is cheering you on.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. All right. Appreciate it, Nick. All right. We didn't plan to do that. So we got some more slides. I'm going to go through a little quickly just to make sure we get all the good stuff in. And so just quick, I should just explain this real quick. Jeremiah mentioned that USP. So this is a formula he developed that works. We use this in our shift program. So, it's been up here for a little while. Hopefully you've stolen that and can use that to start down that path here. All right. This is a new enhancement I just wanted to share real quick. It's similar to what Facebook does, but it's a LinkedIn leads page. So they have the ability to add call to actions to your posts on LinkedIn. You can create products around your services as well on LinkedIn to promote and get leads. So you can instantly collect accurate leads. They have templates built. So this is a new thing I think is pretty cool. Again, LinkedIn is invested heavily. One thing we've learned, we do so much in LinkedIn. We've researched this so much. Some of their top executives are compensated based on how long the members spend on LinkedIn. So, with all this talk about is LinkedIn the place to be? Yes, they want you on LinkedIn. They want you to spend more time. They're going to continue to enhance that platform. I think long-term, it's a great place to invest time and energy. We can measure campaigns inside here. So a new feature that they just enhanced and come out with on LinkedIn. So we wanted to share that too. I think that was news that we just saw in the last couple of days here. So, all right. So spoiler alert, I already shared this on with Nick. Number one key of success that we see for financial advisors is the follow-up and follow-through. Hugely important, hugely important. And Brianna, I know you and I spent some time on the phone the other day just kind of talking about this. When we see this, we know this is the case, but when we talk, what is the one thing we say, hey, if all of our students did this, we would have success stories all over the place. What do you think that would be, and just based on our conversation?
If our students all followed up to all of their messages. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We've seen this, time and time again. The biggest pitfall we see for advisors, and you're busy. You guys are doing great work out there. I was an advisor for 15 years and I believe in what you're doing. That's why I've enjoyed this role so much on Team Advisors, helping all of you do better. And I think what we see is sometimes you get so focused on what you're working on and in the work that you're doing that it's easy to let opportunities kind of run by you because you're just so focused on doing the good work of planning for your clients, helping them invest and watching their account, doing all the things you need to do. But that is the number one thing we see. We have clients, when we go into their accounts, we'll see lead after lead after lead that they just not responded to. And, we see this all the time. I want to spend a little more time on niche since we have some time here. And Jeremiah, I think I'd like, to share your thoughts a little bit. We've talked about this a little bit. I think, my belief, what we teach, we've had these conversations. Niche is so important. There's just more and more advisors are trying to find ways to get new prospects, right? COVID's here. It's not going away in the immediate future. No matter what, it's changed the whole landscape for advisors, right? I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, I moved from New York to the Carolinas. I wasn't allowed to do virtual meetings like this from my broker dealer because it wasn't allowed by compliance. Then all of a sudden COVID happens. And all of a sudden, hey, we're buying Zoom accounts for our advisors. So it's just opened up this whole realm. And I think what it's done also, it's a lot, the ability to niche, but also have a broad market because you're not stuck in your local markets, has allowed you to have a tremendous business across the country without leaving your living room if you wanted to. So Jeremiah, maybe you could share what you're seeing, and then Brianna, I'd like your thoughts too on that, because I think that's something that I've personally in our coaching program have dedicated myself to be harder and push harder back on advisors to really narrow that focus, because I think that's a huge indicator of success into the future of what we're seeing.
Yeah. So Chris, you want me to comment on follow-up or niching?
Niching, please.
Yeah. So you guys probably know the adage, there's riches in niches, right? There's riches in niches. And the biggest fear that most advisors have is that if I commit myself to a niche, and by the way, a niche is not over 55 with $500,000 of assets. That's a demographic category, right? That's not a niche. Anyone that fogs a mirror, that's not a niche. A niche is I work with ophthalmologists who have been in business for 5 years or more. That's a niche, right? I work with people who are newly minted millionaires. That's a niche. I work with business owners who have 50 employees and over in the geographic area of Charlotte, North Carolina. Like, that's a niche. Okay. So you want to understand and know and pick a niche. Now, it doesn't mean you don't have to, it doesn't mean you can't take business from other niches. It just means that you start forging a path towards that. Because what happens is when you identify your niche and you can start using words and dropping lingo that niche uses, all of a sudden you become seen as the de facto authority for them. So if one of the biggest differences we've seen is our clients and our advisors that are crushing it at the highest levels have developed a niche. They were a little nervous, and that just means you're human, which means you're excited, right? If you're nervous about committing to something, it means you're excited. But they've committed to a niche and they've gone full on. For example, one of our clients here, Roman, he works with physicians in a certain area making over $600,000 a year. And he could even decide to go even deeper into what kind of physician group he works. But he's basically a family office for the wealthiest physicians in the country. And he uses LinkedIn to find those, but he knows his niche, right? So that's just a little, we could do a whole class on niching, and probably is a good thing for us to put on the whiteboard there, Chris. We've already got a USP development class we got to do for Power Hour, and we've got a niching class. I think that'll really serve our listeners. We only got a few minutes left, and I know you got a lot of stuff. So Chris, why don't you drop the last bomb? And then if we've got I know you've had probably 20 more slides. So why don't we do this? Let's just drop another value bomb for everybody. And then we'll come back next week and we'll finish this class. Cause I don't think it does our viewers justice to rush through it, because just already today we've gotten like 5 big takeaways that I've been writing down.
And that's so the last thing I wanted to spend a little time. We had a couple minutes left here and get Brianna's. So one thing we've been researching and looking into is the algorithms on LinkedIn. And what we see is the more time you spend focused on a niche and speaking, like the Jeremiah was saying, the terms that you're using, the things that you're saying, LinkedIn's picking up on that. So the more people that are seeing that content that resonate with it, it's going to get pushed to more people. So remember, if you guys haven't seen, sorry, drawing a blank. It's a documentary, Social Network, I think it is on Netflix. It's a documentary about that thing. It's freaky.
Social Dilemma.
Thank you. Network was the movie. Thank you. Social Dilemma. These algorithms are learning you, and they are doing everything they can. In the documentary, they have two people that are in the background, like deciding what to send you, what notifications to send you to get you back engaged on the platform. That's what these algorithms are doing. That's what LinkedIn's doing. So what we're seeing is based on the niche and the words that you're using, all those things, these algorithms are kicking in, and it's sending it to people that also like those words and also search those words and also are associated with that in their profile. So your content, your messaging, the people that they're seeing that you're seeing become more and more focused. So that's another great reason to niche. And Brown, I'll give you the last word here before we turn it back to Jeremiah on niching.
Yeah, so kind of going off that, I did a lot of research this week into the algorithm as well. They're looking for you to be that authority as well. LinkedIn wants that as well, and they're going to favor you if you do that. So entering into a space, again, I kind of want to go to the niching thing too, is do what's comfortable, guys. I think that we tell you to find a niche and people are like, oh man, that sounds terrifying. But I had somebody this week in Shift reach out because she has a background in wine. So she's not going after the industry wine and spirit, right? The business owners or high level execs in those spaces, because she's super comfortable and passionate about wine. Like even that, it's something that is enjoyable. We're not telling you to go after a bunch of, lawyers if you just really don't like lawyers. Like you can find the commonalities in your life and in your niche. And honestly, most of you probably already have a niche you're not aware of. If you think about the clients that you currently have in your business, do you notice that you have a certain amount of people that are consistently the same? A lot of doctors, a lot of, dentists, things like that. If you're seeing that commonality, leverage that on LinkedIn.